What's up, guys? Welcome to sheet number 10 in the Elevate Fast API Survival series. The one that makes your app feel like a triple QA team, a tech writer, and a CI all built in. Right? So the scenario today, your boss said test it, but you're still on Notepad, right? Or Notepad++. So let's fix that with async routes, real unit tests using test client, and beautiful auto-generated docs. So the key takeaway for today, this lesson makes your fast API app smarter with async support, right? Testable with real HTTP like test clients and shareable with clean docs. So you're talking about docs and redoc, right? No more manual curl commands, no more Notepad++, just clean, testable, documented APIs, which is what we need. So let's build it. So you say from FastAPI, we'll import FastAPI. We'll say app is equal to FastAPI. And this is our simple setup, right? Next thing we do, we'll add an async route. So you say app get, we'll do async def async home, and we'll say return a message, and that message will be hello async, right? So the route is marked with async. You know, we produced this already, but let's recap it. Plays nicely with I operations, databases, external APIs. It won't block your app while waiting, and we always use async while we call in external resources. So this is the gist of our main file. We'll have to create our text file next. So because that's for the code examples, I'll rename this so you'll be able to follow along for those of you who have the code examples. Right, so we'll name this app, then we'll say async testing docs.py, right? And next we'll do our next file, our testing file. So create a new file. We'll save this file as, let's say, test 10 async.py. And in it, we'll say from FastAPI.testClient, we'll import the test client, right? And we'll say from 10 async testing. We'll say docs. We'll import app. Then we say client is equal to test client app. Right, and the test client acts like a real browser within your API, but it runs entirely in memory. So it's perfect for CI pipelines, continuous integration pipelines, for developer testing. We'll save this, and then we'll write a unit test. To write a unit test, we'll say this function, we'll test home, and we'll say rest is equal to client get. We say assert rest.status code 200. We say assert rest.json, and we expect a message. Hello async, right? Click save on this. So we simulate a GET request. So, root home, we check that it returns at 200 and everything's okay, and then we confirm that JSON is correct. So to run this test, to bring up the terminal, and we'll do pytest test 10 async.py. Right, so you'll notice that we had an error, and this error is actually because of the way we named the file. So let's rename those files. So rename it async testing docs. So I wanted to see what a failure looks like. When I rename the file, all lowercase, right? Async testing docs, just the Pythonic way. We have our application set up. Keep the same test. You'll observe that now if you run the test, right? Our test pass. And we have our warning. So you see, our next warning, please use import Python multipath. So that's okay, right? So I just want to demonstrate how we do unit testing. And unit testing is very important because if you don't test the app, then the app fails. You just don't know where it's failing yet. Right, and I also want to show you need to do stuff by the Pythonic way. So while for the tutorial, we'll name stuff for the purpose of keeping things simple. When you have large applications, you need to look at how you name and stuff. So let's look at how we can get the test going green. You look up, install, let's say Python, and we'll do the multipath. So after we did all that, we install multipath, we still getting the warning, right? To install multipath, run our test, we still getting the warning. Now sometimes, because we know that it's non-trivial, we wish to ignore that warning, so you'll do something like pytest, w, ignore, independent deprecation warning, right? Now we see our test pass, right? So that's I just wanted to cover different use cases with you. When you run a test, it won't pass, sometimes it'll fail. You need to do things the Pythonic way. Might need to install some stuff. So that are things you'll need to do when you're running tests. But testing is very important, right? So that was sheet number 10 at 1. For part 2, what I really want to look at is I kind of want to look at, the auto-generated docs. So let's take a look at the browser again. And usually accustomed to this, right? This docs. But let's run the app. I want to show you something else. So let's do if we go on async testing and docs app. Reload, right? Let's run that. Let's go to the browser. If we go on our browser, we see this hello async, but we have docs, right? We are accustomed to the Swagger UI with docs, but there's also redoc. And redoc is clean, shareable API documentation. You'll see endpoints, request bodies, and response types all documented here. So this sheet matters because without this, our API won't be tested, it won't be asynchronous, it won't be documented. And when we start scaling and debugging, we run into issues. And at the end of this unit, you'll be kind of ready to start tackling writing unit tests, running async routes, and shipping APIs the team could explore, test, and trust. Because you have the option to download this as a JSON from Redoc, right? Download your API specifications. And in this sheet, you learn to write async API routes, use test client for testing. We look at basic pytest unit tests. When the test fails, how we could ignore it, how the test looks on it pass. And we also generate and access docs with this redoc. So Fast API doesn't just serve pages, it documents tests and scales. So now at this point, we reach a long way because we built 10, real APIs. We look at 10 production ready features, and we look at the complete developer toolkit with zero bloat. But we haven't finished yet. There's still a lot more. And if you want all 10 assemblable cheat sheets, code, and videos, you could go to ElevateFast.dev. You grab the entire, survival series bundle. We'll go deeper. There's a lot of stuff we still have to cover. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Try to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you soon.